On a mission given to me by Woody Shaw, Sunship, Dizzy, and John Kahn, dedicated to pursuing a piece of our cultural heritage through interviews with my music heroes, this is The Jake Feinberg Show. Folks, welcome inside the Parisi Palace, high above 2919 East Broadway. This is The Jake Feinberg Show. Coming to you live on Power Talk. Please go to our website, powertalk.live. Go stream all of our live local shows, including Solomon on Blast and the Jim Parisi Show and the Jake Feinberg Show. And we thank you for making us part of your day today. And without further ado, I want to bring in just a total character, a guy who's reinventing language on the bass, bebop and beyond. He was rooted in classical music, came up through the educational system as well, but has really learned to burn on the bandstand and listen and love, and it is so great to connect with him. Reed Mathis, welcome to the Jake Feinberg Show.
Thanks, Jake. Pleasure to be on the phone with you.
Absolutely, my man. Hey, are you aware of, you're from Tulsa, right?
Yeah, depending on what you mean by from.
Well, I mean,
I lived there for a long time.
Yeah, you did. Are you aware of the lineage of musicians that come from Tulsa?
Well, I mean, yeah, of course. Like Charlie Christian, Bob Wills, Jay McShann, Howard McGee, Barney Kessel. Yeah, totally.
Wow, I didn't even think of any of those cats. I was thinking more like Jim Keltner and Carl Radle. I know.
Oh, yeah. Those are the 60s guys. But when you say lineage, I think of, like, people that are no longer living.
Oh, really? That's fascinating. I didn't have any idea that that's even Jay McShann was from there. Wow. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's one of the things about my show. I like being educated by my guests too. But Reed, I wanted to talk to you first off, I'm not a musician. I spend a lot of time on my show talking about the metaphysical, and I wanted you to talk to the audience about really the first memory you have of having a transcendent experience on the bandstand. In other words, leaving your physical body.
Well, I mean, I've never had a bandstand experience of, like, looking down on my physical body or anything like that, which I know that is something that happens to people. Often people that have been in accidents will, like, fully dissociate with maintaining a visual point of view. But there have definitely been a lot of times on the bandstand when I was not driving, as you would say. That really brings the whole subject of just, like, effort. Like, what is effort in creativity, and why would you try to be creative? And when you're using effort to be creative, what is your goal? I mean, I find that when I'm really trying hard to play, it's because I'm trying to build creation, I'm trying to control and sort of lie to the audience, So really, if you're trying to improvise honestly, the goal is to not try. So when that's working, then you are suddenly just a witness, just like the audience.
Could you give an example of this in your early career, or something that stands out in your memory when you were not?
I mean, I don't know what you mean by career. I mean, I started performing when I was 4, so.
Professional career.
Professional career? Man, I don't know. It's just, I lost track after the 10,000th gig.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess what I'm trying to get at here is there's you go to a lot of live shows these days, and it's a very formulaic experience in some ways. You can go to see a lot of stuff and see a lot of regurgitated stuff. So I'm trying to get at the idea of the mysticism of it. And so if you went to Interlaken, but what was your first professional gig?
Oh, way before that. I don't know. Professional meaning someone gave me money?
Right, it was a gig. It wasn't a jam.
Well, I've been performing for audiences since I was little, but because of my parents. But those weren't jams. I was, I guess on my 15th birthday, I did Vivaldi's Mandolin Concerto with D, the Philharmonic, playing mandolin. But I don't think I was paid. So it depends on what you mean by professional. But, I remember singing with my parents and my sisters in front of thousands of people in San Francisco in the early 80s.
You mind
but also I wasn't paid. I was like 8 or 9. So
right. So you had experience on the bandstand right off the bat.
Yeah.
And can you talk?
My parents are both conductors, so I was in concert halls instead of going to preschool.
Right. Interesting stuff. Can you talk about how scripted the Electric Beethoven album was, and if there were moments where you left the paper, quote unquote, and
oh my God, the album. Everything on the album was improvised. I did do a little bit of editing here and there, but what I did on the record was give everybody just a really vague sketch of just the very essential parts of the, of the music, and I made sure they didn't study any orchestral recordings or anything. I didn't want anyone to try to recreate what Beethoven had done. Almost everything on the record was improvised.
You grew up with a classical background, okay? Then all of a sudden you transitioned and became creative in jazz. But ultimately, when you're just creating a sketch for a lot of cats, that makes a lot of cats insecure. So what kind of players are you choosing?
Well, I didn't ask those kind of players to do it. I like improvisers above all else. And when I say improvise, I don't mean soloists. I mean people that fully improvise and genuinely don't know what they're about to play. So those are the only kind of players I would invite to be part of it,
Can you talk about the first experience in your life when you start? Both your parents were conductors, but were they avant-garde conductors or because traditional classical music?
No, they were pretty traditional.
So when did I love the idea of improvisation, making it up on the spot. I'm producing a film documentary on Stan Getz right now, and that cat.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that cat was the old school improviser, where if he didn't hear it and he didn't feel it, then he wasn't going to play, and he was going to let the rhythm section come in and accentuate and maybe even drive the narrative, so to speak. So I guess I would love you to talk about the first time that you really kind of figured out I don't want to play what the conductor is telling me to play.
Oh well, I didn't ever really do that much classical playing. Improvising was my method even when I was 4 or 5. And all my attempts to be in a classical setting, I was pretty much kicked out of it for improvising. I couldn't stop improvising.
Can you talk about being, I think this is really important. Can you talk about, you were doing what you wanted to do, but can you talk about being kicked out?
Oh, well, it's not exactly pleasant memories, but, starting when I was around 7 or 8, just a lot of times I would, be in a group, in an orchestra or something, or in a choir, and whoever was in charge would stop and be like, "Reed, what are you doing?" And I would be like, "I came up with a part I like," or I wanted to see what this sound did or that sound, and they would, try to shame me for it. so eventually I was like, I'm not going to hang out with people like that.
Or you're not going to play. You're not going to play music with people like that.
Well, that's what I mean. You know, playing music is hanging out.
Sure. What can you? So, when you went into the studio, can you talk about one specific tune that you where you the sketch you gave the guys and how it actually worked out? If the realization of it was actually what you had intended.
I mean, none of them came out like I intended, but that's the point of improvising, you know. Especially when you're improvising with powerful people, the goal is for it to turn into something you couldn't predict. You know, I mean, that's the idea, you know. So all the music on the record turned out way different than I planned. That's assuming that Beethoven's a classical musician. I mean, that's only something people can say in hindsight. I mean, he didn't call himself a classical musician any more than Charlie Parker called himself a bebop musician.
Right.
This is stuff writers say later.
Right. Or during the time, actually, there were white writers who coined that term, just like they coined Coltrane's music hate music.
Well, right, but like, you know, Bird had already been playing that way for 10 years before any writers heard him.
Right, and a lot of people, that was just modern jazz, but I'm with you, totally, 100%.
But even calling it jazz, Bird got mad at a journalist who used the word jazz at him once. I mean, Beethoven was not writing in a genre or for a genre, you know, and he openly said several times, I'm writing for an audience that isn't born yet. You know, I can't think of a single great artist that I admire that describes themselves as playing a genre. Jimi Hendrix took issue with every interviewer that used the word rock. Jimi Hendrix would be like, you know, that I just don't use words like that. I just don't call it that. And these writers would get all flustered. They'd be like, that's my whole job, dude. But all of the great musicians I can think of in the last hundreds of years they just didn't think in those terms. So
I completely agree.
You know,
I mean, it's the Duke Ellington school. It's either good or bad. You know, it's just music. I dig. But what I'm trying, I mean, most lay people that aren't on the planet read Mathis, when they see Beethoven, they think classical. So can you give a preview to talk to the people around the world about without the genre?
Well, okay. So basically, here's my take on it. You know, so you say the word Beethoven, and it's got a cultural connotation. People have information in a drawer that they put the word Beethoven on. So some of what is in that drawer is the genre. It's violins, it's dressing up, it's going to the concert hall, it's going to music school, it's being quiet, it's clapping quietly, it's playing it at the right speed with dynamics, it's using the right terminology when you're talking about it. It's about the posture of holding your instrument, all that stuff, all that doing it exactly stuff. That is part of our relationship to that music. So if you take the truth about Beethoven and subtract all of that information, what's left is what I played. You see what I'm saying?
Go deeper.
Take away the instruments. Take away the social group that plays that music and likes that music. Take away the industry that sells that music. Take away the schools that teach you how to play that music. Take away all the rules of playing that music. Take away the paper score that tells you how to do it. Take away the experts that explain the correct and incorrect ways. Take away all the baggage. Take away the approval if you do it right and the scorn if you do it wrong. Take away all that. Take away everything that was not in the room the moment Beethoven came up with the melody.
I did.
You could subtract all that stuff. Whatever's left is what we played.
Talking to Reed Mathis here on the Jake Feinberg Show. That is pretty heady stuff. I mean, we're part of earlier Mike Gordon and Paige McConnell. Guys from
sure.
From that can really open things up. I mean, how long?
Well, I deliberately sought out people that aren't classical musicians because I didn't want any of that baggage on in the music.
Right.
I wanted to find what's the part of the music that isn't that. I wanted to show that there's more to that music than whatever classical means to you. Beethoven was more than that,
Well, I think you're absolutely right, and I think that but I wonder about when you go on tour, how are you going to try to, articulate to the audience just beyond the music itself is going to speak for itself. But do you feel passionately about trying to get across the idea to younger cats that Beethoven was not a classical musician?
Yes and no. I mean, I don't want to make it about concepts at all. Ideally, the improvising will be so obvious that it won't need any explaining. You know what I mean? When somebody's truly free, I don't want to do an impression of improvising. I want to actually improvise. And when you're in the room with that, there's a vibration that you can feel that doesn't need any explaining. In fact, it's impossible to explain it. But most people don't. Most people, especially if you describe yourself as playing in a genre, you are by definition not improvising. You know what I mean? Like, if you self-identify as a jazz musician, then you always improvise. You are doing it correctly. You are following the jazz rules. You're saying the jazz words. You're wearing the jazz clothes. You are playing the jazz notes. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Which is not what Louis Armstrong did. That is not what Thelonious Monk did. Not what Charlie Parker did. They were improvising. Improvising is when you literally don't know what you're doing or about to do. You're not acting. See what I'm saying?
Oh, listen. This is what my show is predicated. Yeah, I'm with you.
When you're erasing the boundary between voluntary action and involuntary action.
How invigorating is it to be with Kevin Calabro and the Potato Family in the sense of, the marketing concept and the hierarchy. 90% of the venues are controlled by Clear Channel, Live Nation. Mm-hmm. Okay, there's uniformity all over the place. Part of my show is I just don't want have another Hitler. I don't want to have a repeat about that.
Yeah.
I wonder about the idea of you trying to market this. This to me, this is what my show is predicated on. What you're saying to me is completely invigorating, and I'm trying to figure out, because it's so. I guess how do you want to enlighten people? I guess you're going through that ranger station now.
Yeah, some idiot let their car alarm go off.
My show is about enlightenment, and I guess when we've been brought up with so much branding and so much labeling, what is your advice for cats that are trying to do the same thing, that are very strong-headed like you are, getting kicked out of classical bands? They just want to throw all the labels away, and they just want to improvise, and they don't know what's going to come next. What are the tenets that you can give these cats to go? Because you know what? It's clear that you can learn your technical chops, but ultimately it's about feel, and it's about improv, and it's about making it up on the spot. So what's your advice to younger cats out there to keep this going?
Honestly, my advice would be as derivative as possible, because that's what audiences want and that's what the industry wants. My advice would be pick something popular and copy it as exactly as you can, because that is what the entire industry is built on. But basically, if I didn't turn out like this because I've had some kind of quest for it. I was born like this, and I've spent my life trying to figure out why and what to do with it. all my spiritual searching has been to figure out why I'm already like this, not to change how I am. Do you know what I mean?
I love it. Keep going, man. You're waxing so hard right now. Yeah.
So you just, I mean, there's no advice to give, honestly. If the only people that should play like this are the people who have the choice. I think if you're able to copy Radiohead or Charlie Parker or Led Zeppelin, you know, or the Meters, fucking do it. By all means, do it. Oh my God, I wish I could do that. I have friends that can sound just like the Meters, you know, and I'm just like, God, I've tried so hard. Every time I try to copy something famous or popular, I get made fun of. You know, like I just don't have that muscle. And, you know, and as long as I've been playing music, I've been trying to get people to like me and get people to accept me and feel some sort of social security. Like now I'm an accomplished enough musician that I won't get rejected or whatever, which is an impossible goal. You will always be rejected. But, you know, the only success I've ever gotten, the only true affirmation I've ever gotten has been when I'm not copying things. So, unfortunately, the industry is not built to deal with people like that, which is why we've heard of the people that copy artists more than we've heard of the original artists, you know? But
you're absolutely, you're 100. I'm gonna counter you and ask you, because like you said, you were born this way, and I love it. And you've been on a spiritual quest to figure out why. And there are other cats who have been birthed in the same fashion, and they're younger. So my question is, can you talk about a time when you were wavering? You've always been in music for the right reason, so you've never been fully shaken to your core and gotten out of it. But was there a time in your spiritual quest where you were saying, why can't I be more mainstream? Why can't I copy more?
Oh my God, every day.
But can you talk about a specific experience, especially when you were not where you are today? You've climbed a little bit of that mountain. Can you talk about when you were younger and had a little more self-doubt, a little more insecure?
Well, for me, that insecurity always manifested as anger and condescension. I dealt with that by feeling superior to other people, other bands, other musicians. My first band, Jacob Fred Jazz Odyssey, we played for 15 years, and we saw a lot of bands that we called mediocre doing a lot better than us with a lot less work. And we dealt with that envy by feeling superior to them and calling it an unjust system. But, you know, it's just music, so you can't really bring justice to it, you know? it's not like that. It's not like food or water or something.
No, of course not. But how did you get over that arrogance, that envy?
I got over that arrogance because I got tired of it. It's an awful way to live.
Right.
I started wanting to have a good day, you know, and you know, the thing is, if you are committed to being an honest, I would rather use the word honest than original, because people use the word original and they don't mean it. But so if you're committed to being an honest artist, then you are, you know, you're going to have a pretty hard road, because people don't know how to write about that. People don't know how to sell it. People don't know how to talk about it. If you're truly doing something unique, who's the audience? Who do you market that to?
Exactly.
What's the demographic for something that doesn't have a name?
I love it.
What's the demographic for something that doesn't have a technique that can be taught in a school? You know, there's no demographic for that. So the industry doesn't want it. The audience doesn't want it. The other artists are intimidated by it. So I recommend, honestly, my advice to younger musicians would be as derivative as possible and have a great life. Buy a house, marry a pretty girl, and, you know, and play Wembley Stadium. That sounds great.
Can you, who is the best leader that you ever worked under?
Robert Walter.
Train. You better not be there when it rolls over. And when that train rolls in, you wonder where it's been. You gotta try and see a little further. They love each other. Lord, you can see that it's true. Lord, you can see that it's true. Lord, Lord, you can see that it's true. Oh, Lord, you can see that it's true. Well, Lord, you can see